How's it going, guys? Vaibhav here and welcome back to another video. Now this one's going to be about the Nubia Red Magic 5S gaming smartphone, and if you haven't followed it already, this month seems to be the gaming smartphone month. We've got an Asus gaming smartphone, we've got a Lenovo gaming smartphone, and now we've got the Red Magic Nubia 5S smartphone as well. So all of these sources that I'm going to be mentioning in this video are coming from Weibo, so they are initially in Chinese, so there might be some discrepancies as to what we can understand, but for the majority of all these leaks and teasers, official ones, we get to see most of the specifications and feature set of this smartphone. So let's get into it. So this is the latest teaser slash post on Weibo from the president of the company, teasing that the phone is coming out on July the 28th. Now, what is the phone entailing? What does it come with? So the first thing that I want to mention is the Plus. So this thing comes with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus processor. It's no surprise given the fact that this is a gaming smartphone, and once again, all of this is in Chinese. I've tried my best to translate most of it, but the ones that I haven't been able to translate, we just have to see the picture and sort of decipher what this thing is pointing towards. So I feel like the red LED lights as well as the blue LED lights point to some sort of design element for the smartphone, as well as the Plus, of course, pointing to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus, clocked at 3.09 GHz. So I think this is the trend when it comes to smartphones for the second half of 2020, especially gaming smartphones, because they want to have everything in the smartphone, they want to have the most power, and well, there you have it. So this next teaser on Weibo actually teases out the cooling technology that the smartphone is going to use, and for a gaming smartphone, that's very important. Now, most of the time we've seen sort of a copper technology being used, but I feel like silver, which this smartphone is going to be using, has more of a thermal sort of dissipation capacity. So at the end of the day, it's going to impact your cooling in a good way or a good manner and make your phone feel less prone to temperatures when it comes to you doing high-end gaming. Now, I don't feel like it's going to be a massive difference, so it's not going to be like 10 to 15 degrees cooler, but it's definitely going to be a noticeable difference, and I feel like this difference might actually help the smartphone bring about its best when it comes to processing power, because we've seen the benchmarks of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus processor. I talked about it on my previous video, and it's not a big boost when it comes to the 865 that we currently see on many flagship smartphones, but I feel like this cooling technology might help it bump even further. So that's something unique about the smartphone. The silver cooling system is something that they're going to be marketing as being a major selling point for the smartphone. So that's something to keep in mind as well. This next post actually elaborates on the silver cooling technology and also gives us more information about the smartphone itself. So it's going to come with a 3.5mm headphone jack. So that's already a bump up compared to the Asus ROG 3 gaming smartphone. And it's also going to come with 30-watt fast charging support. Now, we don't know the battery capacity of the smartphone as of yet. Some rumors are pointing to a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Some are pointing to a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. We can't really tell, but I feel like if it is a gaming smartphone at the end of the day, it's going to push to the limits. So it's going to be a 6,000 or more or less a 5,500 to a 6,000 milliamp hour battery on this thing. But this post in particular actually elaborates on the cooling efficiency of the phone itself. So it mentions the silver lining of, not silver lining, but the silver material used in the cooling system of the smartphone, but it also emphasizes the fact that it has an external cooling system as well to really bring about the gaming performance on the smartphone, and they're calling it the Ice Wind Cooling Box, which I think will help for those hardcore gamers who want to game on the smartphone, those competitive titles, and I think that's what these things are going for. So esports gamers, anchors, etc, etc. So that's something cool, and I think it's going to be one of the many accessories that the phone might ship with, and that's something to look forward to, because I feel like a modular gaming smartphone is the way to go. I feel like just throwing in the high-end specifications just makes it a flagship smartphone at the end of the day, but when you have, let's say, a controller, some sort of cooling system, that's when you start to really see what the gaming smartphone brings about, especially with the design, the LED lights. I think that's what makes a gaming smartphone at the end of the day. So yeah, extended emphasis on cooling technology with the silver cooling tube, as well as an external sort of unit to cool the smartphone even further. Now, one of the cool things about the smartphone, apart from it being really cool, is the 320 Hz touch sampling rate for those side bumper buttons. So the side bumper buttons help with FPS games, for example, and instead of this being a photo, it's actually a visual of the smartphone in action. So as you can see, this guy is playing an FPS game and he's using the buttons on the top and bottom of the smartphone to, trigger the gun that he might be using or to aim on the smartphone. So I feel like this makes for a more natural experience, and the fact that it's 320 Hz will make sure that the touch sensitivity is extremely accurate and extremely precise, so whenever you press it, it's actually going to register on the smartphone. Now, aside from that, we don't know much about the display technology of the smartphone. We do know it's going to be an AMOLED panel. It's going to be a 144 Hz refresh rate as well, so that's something really cool and combines well with the gaming sort of capacities of this smartphone, but we don't know the size of the display itself. Aside from that, we know that this thing is going to come with at least 12 or even 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think 12 gigabytes is what this thing should be pointing towards. 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1. So that's again sticking to that high-end processing power that this phone is sort of trying to bring. So yeah, that's about it for what we know from the Nubia Red Magic 5S. Now, as far as design goes, we don't know anything about the phone itself. I haven't seen any leaked smartphone design details, but if we were to guess, it would be similar to what this smartphone was in the Red Magic 5G. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about Nubia's latest smartphone. It's coming out in 1 week. I'm excited for it, but unfortunately, these sort of smartphones never make it to the UAE. So I'm hoping that in the future, these smartphones actually do make it to the UAE, so I can actually try and get my hands on one of these and actually test out the gaming performance when compared to a flagship product like, let's say, the S20 Ultra. Because at the end of the day, the processing power on the S20 Ultra and the processing power on the gaming smartphone, any gaming smartphone, is pretty similar. So I want to really see how much of a difference all of these things, when it comes to thermals, when it comes to these extra accessories, make in a real world performance test, and that's something I would love to do if I can get my hands on any of these smartphones. So yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys posted on what's next for Nubia. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. This was Vaibhav, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.